Hey, you guys. Good morning. Well, I have had a few requests for tag packs in my shop, and so I was trying to put together some tags that I could list, and that kind of got me going down this, I don't know, this path of trying to do something different. And so, um, basically what I wound up doing was another round or another series of what I call junk folios. Okay. And so what these are basically is it's almost like a kind of like a collection of tags and other types of embellishments and stuff like that, almost in an almost journal form. Okay. So um there's not like actual pages in here. What there are is a bunch of pockets that are filled with various things that you can use. So part of the idea with these is that just about every bit of this is consumable. So you could use the cover as a journal. Like you could actually stitch a new signature inside this and kind of expand it and make it into like a full-fledged journal. Or you could even take it apart and you could use all the fabric, use the pockets, use all the paper I made the pockets out of, that kind of stuff. You could completely repurpose this entire thing, which I think is kind of cool. And so I made these a little bit oversized, a little bit larger than the last couple of times that I made these. And, I'm pretty happy with that. So I was able to get a lot of stuff in these. I mean, a lot. So most of what's in these is, tags and things that I've made, that I've created. Okay. Some of it is basically ephemera, things like that I actually so I tried to include additional stuff in the folios that I actually use on a regular basis, like when I'm collaging and stuff like that. So yeah, so there's some completely finished tags and envelopes, or not, yeah, envelopes, and also like pockets that I included that are completely finished. You could just slap them into a journal, or use them as a card or whatever. But there's also some that are not completely finished, and that is so that you could actually finish them yourself if you want to. Or you could also just use them the way they are. I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? We do what we want. So anyways, so let me just kind of go through one of these and give you an idea of what's in here. Yeah, so first thing is the tie is made out of basically a scrap fabric ribbon that I made. A lot of it is vintage fabric, some of it not so vintage, but a lot of it is. I would say 70% is vintage. So you've got that, which you could use in a lot of different ways. I like to just cut it into little pieces and then use it like on top of my tags. Just kind of fold it a little piece in half and, sew it onto the top of a tag, or even just staple it on, or use little pieces as tabs on journal pages, or just like as like a strip of it on the edge of a page or something like that. So it has a lot of different uses. And also another way that I've been using this ribbon is cutting it into pieces again, and then layering those together and kind of stitching them together with a button, and then sort of making a little cluster, and it turns into almost like a little flower. So I do have a live stream video where I was making these little fabric and lace clusters. So if you'd like to see that, I do have a video on that. It's about an hour long. So because it was a live stream. So anyway, so each one has that, and it's about probably about a yard of that ribbon. And then the cover, it's actually a file folder. Okay, so it's a file folder. And then I stitched on, there's 3 layers of fabric on the outside. So the first layer is some feed sack fabric that I actually got from Regina recently. And thank you, Regina. I love, love, love it. And then some other type of fabric. Not much of the second layer of fabric is vintage. Okay, most of it is new fabric. But the feed sack is vintage. And then I put another layer of fabric on here. Let me make sure everything doesn't fall out when I do this, so that I could create a pocket on the front and back. Okay, so that's just kind of like a little half pocket. Attached to the front pocket, you're gonna have 3 of those fabric slash lace clusters that I mentioned. And those are just attached with little bulb pins. So I thought that was, kind of cool. So, if you want to use this as a place to like store embellishments for future use, things that you pick up or whatever, I think having the fabric cover is really cool, because then you can just, pin other stuff onto it, Anywho, and then I added a couple of these are like antique fabrics that I just cut up into little tiny pieces and put an eyelet on them and made them into little charms. Okay. And then some of my little micro tags that I make. There's a couple of those on there. And then some vintage buttons, some shanked buttons. Okay. So those are all on bulb pins. And again, attached to the fabric of the cover with a bulb pin. So yeah, so you get a number of bulb pins too. And then, so each one of these has the same elements, although those elements are in different places in each one. Okay. So I didn't put like the same exact thing in the same exact pockets, even though they all kind of have the same pockets. I just put stuff in however I felt like, but everything that I show you that's in this one is going to be in all of them. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I believe there's 10 completed tags that I've collaged and basically finished. Okay, so they're all inked, and then I've done some like, I love messy stitching, like totally messy stitching. So I do some stitching around each one of them. And then I add some kind of like fiber or lace or fabric or something like that onto the top with a little hole reinforcer. Okay, so there's going to be 10 in each one. This one, they happen to be in that front pocket. And then this is a page from a ledger. This is a vintage ledger. I used one of the larger ledgers that I have that has writing in it, okay, because that's something that I love to use in my collage is, already written on ledger. So, okay, and then, so they also each have a name. That's kind of like my thing lately. So, this one happens to be named Irene, okay, so each one has a pocket on the front inside cover, as well as the front, or the back inside cover. Okay, it's just kind of a narrow pocket. So, and so I'll just show you the tags that are in here. Some of them I backed with avocado dyed paper, some I didn't. So here's an example of a tag that is not what I would consider finished, even though I think it's cool just the way it is. If you wanted to do some collaging or something on here, that is kind of what my intention was to sort of leave it to you to finish it. So this is like a little floating pocket that you could just paper clip into a journal, or even stitch it or glue it in. And then I added 2 of my avocado dyed envelopes. I'm going to zoom in for you guys a little bit. So there's 2 of my avocado dyed envelopes. They're larger envelopes like this, and I've just done some collaging on the flap and then stitched around the edges of it. What else is in here? And then I added one of these cards. These are just like a greeting card. I got these at Michael's, I think, a long time ago. So each one has one of those. And then one of these vellum flower cards. And then here's 2 other tags that are in here. There's lots of stray threads and things like that. So there's some collaging on both of these. So see, this one I didn't back it with anything, but I like the music paper on there. And so here is one of the pockets that doesn't have any collaging or anything on it. But like I said, I mean, you know, you could use it just like this, or you could even, you know, glue some images or whatever onto the front of it if you wanted to. One thing I like to do is take brads in and put brads in each of the corners, or even eyelets in the corners before I glue these on. I think it looks kind of cool. Or like I said, you could just paper clip it into whatever. And then I pulled a page out of a vintage children's math book, and I put that in there. And the reason I added that is because I love tearing these up and using them in my collages. So that's why I included that. And then there is one page of totally blank ledger paper in each one. This is nice heavy ledger paper too. So, and the reason I included a blank one is because I like to glue that blank paper onto the back of tags sometimes, just as a writing surface, you know. So here's another tag with the avocado paper on the back. And then I also included a page out of a children's like language workbook. This is a really, really old book. And I just, you know, I love using, you know, bits of these in collages, like on tags and journal covers and things like that. So that is why that's in there. And then there's an avocado dyed envelope, and it's, you know, not glued together, so you could do collaging on it or whatever. And I like them this way because you can, you could use this on the inside of a signature, like in the center of a signature, and pretend this is the page, you know, and then do your stitching. And then when it's all sewn together, then you glue the envelope shut. Okay, so then you don't see that, you know, the string or whatever on the inside. So it's kind of cool. Oh, or you could just, you know, you could use it this way. Another thing I like to do is cut this off, cut the flap off, take it around on the back and stitch that flap back onto the back, and then fold it. And then you have like a little pocket on each side of the signature on the back, and then you'll have the 2 on the front. So that's just a couple of different ways that I like to use those long envelopes. Okay, and then I added a currency envelope full of postage stamps because I love using postage stamps in my collages and on journal pages and things like that. So these are mostly vintage postage stamps. Okay, so this, you know, I don't know how many's in there, but it's like that many. Okay, and then that's just clips onto one of the pages. And then I added a page from this old notebook. This was somebody's notebook from like a chemistry class, I think. And I love just using little bits and pieces of that in collages. And then some of these receipts that are from 1950. It was a beer distributor. So I got those from Patty. Thank you, Patty. And then, let's see, I'll put that back on. And then like this page is from a kid's dictionary. So, you know, like you could cut this page out, totally disassemble this. You could use the music paper that's on here. This is actually the cover of some sheet music. Okay, so it's got some really cool text on it, and then the sheet, the music notes on the back. Anyway, these are kind of fun to cut apart and use on tags. And then let's see. So this was like this phonics, like teaching phonics kind of thing. It's hard to explain, but there was a bunch of them that I picked up at the thrift store. So I put one of those in there, and then a couple of these like thin paper bingo cards. And then I added a page from this really, really old pocket atlas that I have. It was kind of hard for me to tear into it, but I love you guys, so I did it for you. I don't know what year it is, but I have it. I think it's like 19. Yeah. Oh no, it's really old. It's 1887. So very old pocket atlas page. Okay. And then a sheet of green stamps. These are always fun to use in collages, and you can get these off of these pages, okay? Just with a little bit of patience. The glue that's on them isn't that great, so they're not hard to take apart. And then this was just from a notebook, an old vintage notebook. And then a couple of recipe cards. These are fun to use in collages or as journaling cards too. So, okay, so those are paper clipped somewhere in the folio. And then I included a selection of, I think there's 10 pieces of vintage wallpaper in each one of these. 4.5, 5 inch by 5 or so inches. Not huge pieces, but these are really nice to use in collages too. And then I included some very special book pages in here. I'll go through this little glassine bag and kind of tell you what these are. So, oops, let me get the little guys out of there. Come on now. There's a little bit of static going on. Okay, well, you can see there's 2 of these. So this is from this little teeny Lilliput dictionary, and I think this is the German one. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see it at the moment. But like a double page, at least one double page from that. And then this is a Shakespeare book, this little leather-bound Shakespeare book that I disassembled. So this is a page from The Taming of the Shrew. And those are super cool to use in little collages. And then this is from a Latin dictionary. And these are from a vintage Spanish dictionary, Spanish to English dictionary. And then I added a couple pages from a French phrase book. So I can't remember the year on this, but it was sometime in the 40s. So it's a vintage French phrase book. Okay. So like, if you were going to France and you needed to be able to communicate, like, where's the bathroom or whatever, this would help you. So, and I put those all inside this little glassine envelope, and it's inside of this pocket that is made out of a very old piece of sheet music along with the wallpaper. Okay. So, whoops, I did this on the wrong side. Okay. So then those are just held on like that. Okay. And then in this little bundle, there's 3 vintage flashcards. These are awesome to use as tags, but I also like to tear out the numbers and use those in collages. So, they're kind of a cool little element, I think. And then this would be cool to use as a tag, or to even just tear up little pieces of it to just get that little pop of red or whatever. And then I added a couple of bingo cards. okay, for the same reason. And there's the other side of the kids' dictionary pages. Whoops. Okay. And then in this little bag, so obviously you get a couple of glassine envelopes in here too. There's some really cute little cards and stuff in here. So first of all, there's 3 miniature playing cards. Okay, this one has like a little puppy on it. And then this one is just kind of like, I don't know, knights and horses and stuff. And then this one is just like a red kind of checkered back. And then I used one of these little cherry blossom vintage playing cards. And a couple of these little history flashcards. This is some kids construction paper that's like marbled sort of. And then some other flashcards. And then I added a couple of vintage color slides. So, you know, these are kind of cool. You can pop out the image that's in there and then insert another image if you want. And those make kind of cool little elements in your journals too. All right. So those are just clipped onto there. And then I added a page from this book that I love to use in collaging. It's just this, I don't know, when I got it, it didn't have a cover on it. So I don't know what the title of the book is, but it just has all these cool diagrams and stuff. And I just love the font and all of the cool writing and stuff on it. It's just really, really neat. So I just, and the texture of this paper is really, really soft, and it tears really nicely. It inks really nicely. It takes ink really nicely, I should say. So I added a full page from that book. And that, you know, a little bit goes a long way for that kind of stuff. So, and then here's 3 tags that are finished. And then I added another sheet of music from the same book that pocket is made out of. This was for an accordion. Okay, so I thought that was kind of neat, and it shows you how to play the accordion. And then here's a avocado dyed envelope. This one's remained sealed during the dyeing process, so it's already sealed up. And then here's 2 more tags that you could finish or leave as is, whatever. And then here's another pocket that you could do something with if you wanted to. And then another one of the avocado dyed envelopes that is open. So, okay. And then there's, you know, some extra storage space on the back. You know, so you could store pens and pencils in there, or like a little notepad or whatever. So there's a lot of room in these too. And, you know, they're kind of like, I don't know, I guess they could be almost like a flowish type of thing, or a faux flow, as I call them, type of journal. But, yeah, so they're all kind of similar as far as the look of them, but like this one has a little bit different fabric, like kind of a floral. And then but they all have that pocket on the front and back. Okay, so I'll just run through them real quickly just to tell you the names. So this one is, I forgot her name already. So this one's Irene. That's the one that I showed you. And then this one is Alice. And she's got like a blue cluster, and then yeah, so there's the little micro tags and a couple other little clusters. I love the button on this one, it's so pretty. And then this one is, what is your name? Oh, this one is Pauline. And she's got like a red cluster, kind of a multicolor, and then sort of a shabby chic, like pink, you know, pink and white And this one is, what's your name? Marion. I've been looking at popular names for women from the 20s. So these are like the popular names from the 20s. It's just a thing. So anyway, so this one's Marion. And there's 10 pictures, as usual, in each listing. I listed each one separately, so you can see 10 photos of each one in the listings. So this one is June. She's got some pretty colorful clusters. This one is Emma. Oh, and I forgot to say that I included a page or a piece of the, this is straw paper from Italy that I got from Rachel at Roxy Creations. She actually sold me some of that paper that she uses in her collages and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. This one's Emma. And then this one is Vivian. So I don't know. I love the idea of being able to, pin things onto this book and, just as a way to just kind of store them or whatever. And that there's so much room. There's just tons of pockets and big pockets. And this one is Laura. Hi, Laura. And I love the little buttons and stuff on these. I used all white vintage shanked buttons, and most of them are mother of pearl, so they're really pretty. I love this pink cluster. This one is Pearl. And then the last one is Ruth. And there's the series. So there's 10 of these altogether. And they are currently listed in my shop. I am running my 15% off sale still. Yeah, so, and I do ship international. So if you're, from anywhere outside the United States, don't hesitate to take a look. And, yeah, anyway, well, thanks for watching, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, as per usual. And I will see you later on today. It's Sunday, November 25th. So I will see you later on my live stream. Okie dokie. Bye for now.